Well, hello to all the lovely people out there. Welcome to the end of the week. Today is Saturday. We got astrology for you, right? It is December 13th, and the moon is in Libra all day long. Now, believe it or not, it's a focused moon. It's focused until 7:23. It's been focused since 3 o'clock yesterday in Libra. We're doing beautiful things, right? We're doing the best we can, right? Make it beautiful. Make it right. Okay, so a little bit of equilibrium there, right? Let's do this. We're on the right path. Look, Mars enters a quincunx with Uranus at 444, right? That's my special angel number, and we're on the right path since that was a derivative of the 1212 portal that occurred yesterday. Not so much a portal, but just a feeling of like, hey, we're doing the right things. We're in the right direction, right? We're on the right path. Now, not that our spiritual path is devoid of any bumps. Yeah, right? Or our actual trajectory is devoid of bumps. No, that's not true. However, there are bumps. The moon is focused in Libra until 7:54 when she's finally sextile Venus. Date night, right? This sounds good. Mars steps into an apex point because of the Jupiter-Uranus sextile, right? Which is where we were saying, hey, we're going to get some good stuff done. This is why we were looking forward to the Yule period, right? Yeah, we've got a chance to really get some things done. So let's do this. Now, airdrops available on Android. Nice. That just came through on my little email stuff, right? Bet you didn't know that. That's pretty good. I actually used that today. Airdrop at a customer's house. Now, let's do this. Mars is in that apex point. That Jupiter-Uranus sextile was an enduring one because anytime we have the outer planets, they're slow moving. And those sextiles stay for a long time. And so those yods are particularly powerful. Can take the energy of those two, synthesize it, and then tell us what we need to do or give us a goal to shoot for, which is the whole point of the newsletter that was stalled. And we'll get that out in a minute. Okay? Now, tech isn't quite cooperating. Oh, already there, right? My email is going to go out today because I'm an astrologer, not a marketer, okay? It got hung up yesterday because I wanted to create something with a bit more flair, rather than just sending out the most boring freaking email you ever read. Make it look good, make it do some stuff, right? I'm good with that stuff. However, I was too good with it and ended up putting it into a different format that I couldn't get what I wanted out of it. So rather than compromise my integrity and my value, I decided to just say, like, you know what? I will look at this a little later when I have fresh eyes and just, maybe I just have to redo something, right? Because I did like what the result was. However, it just wasn't going to translate well as if I put it out as an email. Now, Moon in Libra, eye towards color, composition. Yes, very good, right? Those graphic things. Yes, very creative, very beautiful, right? However, when I went to complete everything, it glitched. So today's keyword is again. So I'm going to try again. Why not, right? So the color is lavender because that's a pastel-y purple, right? And I'm feeling that way. So Mercury is reaching out to Pluto. Sextile, right? That's one of the aspects today. As a matter of fact, that happens at 11:32 in the morning, okay? The Mercury-Pluto sextile perfects. So let's see. Now, Mars is where we're going to take an action, that apex point where it arrives at, right? There's an action that was implied between Uranus and Jupiter. Uranus was actually in Taurus for most of the time when it was, doing that sextile stuff with Jupiter. So, this is not a very tight yod, which is interesting because usually yods are pretty tight if you do consider them in a natal chart. You don't give those aspects, you don't give those the aspects much leeway at all, okay? So, those are the orbs, right? The how close they are and what kind of space we give them, right? It's like personal space for planets. Now, what I'm thinking about, right, is what if the two combine? So what if Mars and that Mercury and Pluto sextiles that formed gives a projection point in the future, right? That's what that whole email is about. This is how we can kind of get a good feel for what it is we're doing prediction-wise here at AstroCat, right? Because those two energies, that sextile energy is very beneficial, and it's using communication, it's using technology in some way to address either societal change issues like Pluto issues or expanding communication, logic, and whatnot, and getting it out there, right, around the world, because it's a traveling sign, right, Sagittarius. We got Mars in Sagittarius at this, realizing this, putting this out there, putting the effort into it, and then this effort will be funneled through this Mercury-Pluto sextile into the first degree of Cancer. Now, this is going to be very interesting, right? Because Mars is there with Jupiter already in Cancer in its exaltation, and that's when these actions will bear fruit. This is how this production works. Take that point, project in the future. When planets cross that point, you can feel it, because once the moon is in Cancer, which has been crazy lately, right? Like for the last 6 months, that's where we get a little bit of energy. That's where we get some energy going. And that's why this point is very, very important, because there's some energy that's going to be happening. That first day of summer is going to be quite cool, right? Yes, because not only will we see this thing that we're doing bear fruit. So for me, it's this newsletter, right? Just let's use that as a for example, right? Now, once those planets cross the 1 degree mark in Cancer, begins another expansion cycle, okay? So we can feel it when the moon enters that. We'll feel it when Mercury, Venus, the sun will all enter that particular area, right? Mars, too slow moving, right? It takes 2 years to go around through the zodiac, right? The other planets do it annually. So the sun, Mercury, and Venus do that annually. So now it begins yet that expansion cycle just when we need it, right? And it's going to be very interesting, because both Saturn and Neptune will be square to this point when we reach it next year, right? So hold on, Shane. Squares are bad, right? Well, this square is going to force us to reinvent this traditional expression. So say like this newsletter, right? This newsletter sounds so dated and old, right? But it's going to turn into something completely different. And it'll still be the same kind of reaching out, but it'll be in a different form, right? No, that's effing sick. Think about it. We got ourselves yet another aspect here, and now we're saying, hey, this idea is coming to fruition. We're going to put it out there. We put the energy into it, and this is what form it's going to take by next summer. We give it a prediction. We give it a timeline. This is how we do it. Now, I'd never revealed the nuts and bolts to this before, but that's because it was developing. It was a developing idea. I've liked the way it's developed, and it's turned out to be pretty darn accurate. So, intuitively, that works. Now, what are you working on, okay? This is what I'm working on. Let me know what you're working on, because that's what's important. What's important to me is not what I'm doing, but what you're doing, and how what I'm doing is a reflection of just what the flow of the universe is, and how you can tap into that flow as well. So now, this is what I'm working on. Let me know. Now, the rest of the morning, after I get this done, I'm going to be taking in a recital, the music recital. So now, what about you? What else do you have planned for the day? What kind of Libra activity would you be doing? Because that's a very Libra activity, going out there and listening to some kind of artistic expression. Now, I got to tell you, tonight, later on, with that moon sextile Venus, it's a great date night, okay? Now, treat the significant other, okay? Christmas is coming, but who cares? Just get out there and enjoy yourselves, right? Now, that way, you get the time you need, right? Because you spend time. When you spend time, you create time. See where I'm going there? And it allows these points, these apex points, and the things that I'm trying to talk about really take off. Now, fair warning. I'm going to give you a little bit of fair warning. I may very well go live on TikTok on Sunday to further explain these points and to just address that newsletter that's going out to those of you who signed up for my email list. Okay? Yep. And then once again, probably, I would say right around the new moon. Maybe. I'm not sure. But we will be picking somebody at random to do a one-on-one reading with. So if you're on the email list, that's how you can get a one-on-one reading with me, and it will be absolutely free. So that's going to be fun, right? So let's talk about this. That's all I got. So let's see what this Mercury and Pluto thing's going to send us to with this little bit of Mars behind it, right? Actions that are going to create something that we're going to see and be able to gauge and measure by the time summer rolls along. All right. God, I keep on going longer and longer. Okay, so in 1920, Francis G. Pease's interferometer at Mount Wilson Observatory is the first instrument to measure the diameter of a star. And you know what star that was? Betelgeuse. Just don't say it 3 times. And instead of a birth, we get a death, because guess what? Not everybody, we don't know everybody's birthday throughout history, right? So no matter how interesting they are, kinda, right? Now, Donatello, the sculptor, not the Ninja Turtle, okay? The actual sculptor, born in around 1386. He dies in 1466. He's a Florentine artist and Renaissance sculptor. He died about the age of 80. And that's all I have for you. So, walking it back, let's review. Okay, the color is lavender, and today's keyword is again. So, once again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate and love every single one of you. Today is a 6. Happy astrocatting.